floresta, os rios é a nossa casa, onde a gente se mantém.
Porque o uruê-uauau é como se fosse uma barreira.
Tudo desmatado.
The forest to the indigenous peoples is life. It's not only our home, but it's who we are. The forest gives food to us, give water, and she cares us. And our spirituality is there in the forest. So the forest is all to us. We are the forest.
The Amazon is home to around 1 million Indigenous people, including tribes who have not yet had contact with the outside world. Chai's own tribe were forced out in 1981 when the government of Brazil built roads into the rainforest.
Could you describe to me the meaning behind your headdress?
This is protection and strong. I'm not alone because my people are here with me and the spirit of the forest are here with me.
She travels the world with husband Gabriel to plead for the survival of the forest, those iwi who choose to remain isolated, and to help the rest of us connect the dots.
The Amazon is 18 times bigger than New Zealand. And it's not only about territory, it's also about life on Earth. We're talking about climate change, we're talking about so many things that we are all connected. So it's not a problem for Brazilians only, it's a problem for the whole world.
My name is Chai Surui. I'm 1 in 24, but my people have been living in the Amazon forest at least 6,000 years. We have no more time. The non-indigenous destroy our forests and just change a lot. When my father was a kid, our land was so big and rich, and now we live in small land. They take our spirituality, they take our land, and they are killing us.
Ela é, para mim, no meu ponto de vista, o coração, não do Brasil, mas sim do planeta em geral.
Sustento.
Gabriel is a producer of The Territory. 3 years in the making, this film documents the war against deforestation. On one side, invaders seizing land they see as unoccupied. On the other, the Uruawawao tribe, guarding their fishing and hunting grounds, their tino rangatiratanga. Less than 300 people, led by 22-year-old Bitate and activist Najini Bandera.
They are fighting against all the odds. They are fighting against the whole system. It's tricky because when you talk to the settlers in the Amazon, they say that when I got here, there was nothing, there was just forest. It's tragic the way they see the forest, because for us it's the opposite. Forest is everything, it's life.
The couple suggest many Brazilians have little awareness about Indigenous tribes or the importance of the Amazon. Habitat to an estimated 1 in 10 known species on Earth, often described as the lungs of the planet, the Amazon is a carbon store that slows down the pace of global warming.
I had the privilege to attend to good schools, and I can tell you that I learned nothing about Indigenous people in Brazil. So we don't know what's going on there. For example, recently, a few years ago, there was so many fires in the Amazon that the smoke came all the way to São Paulo.
Satellite data suggests an area the size of a football pitch is cleared every minute. Some plots are sold on Facebook, despite no legal title and demands for tech giants to halt sales. It was Gabriel who introduced American director Alex Pritz to the tribe to help get their story out there.
I was lucky because I was already living there. Literally, I knew every single Uruguay person before the film started. So when I first met Bitete, he was a 15 years old skinny boy, you know, and I know his whole family.
Bitate was only 18 when he was chosen by his elders to become the chief.
What was the big challenge for you in getting the tribe involved?
We needed to talk a lot with elders because they didn't understand about filmmaking, of course. Most of their community, they had never watched a feature documentary film before.
Nagini was adamant the film needed to include the perspective of those the tribe described as invaders.
Não produz não. Só vive ali dentro.
The settlers and farmers feel like they are the heroes of this story. They are the virtuous pioneers going out, colonizing new land, turning wilderness into private property.
O sonho brasileiro de quem está vivendo aqui é ter seu pedacinho de terra para poder trabalhar, né? Tirar ali o seu sustento. Produzindo alguma coisa, plantando para fazer nosso Brasil para frente.
E o que eu fico revoltado é que a gente ainda é considerado bandido, pessoas que atrapalham o país, entendeu?
Eu mesmo falo, nunca vi nada de índio.
Fala, ninguém nunca viu, não.
É, só fala também.
Can you understand or empathize with the ranchers and the farmers?
No. We did a Q&A in Brazil, and a guy, he said, yeah, you know, when you show the other side, I see me. Because my father go to there and they teaching us that you, the indigenous peoples, are the enemy. You are the bad guys. We need to fighting against the capitalism, against the system, against the colonialism, not against each other.
When COVID hit, Bitate banned all visitors from their territory, film crew included, conscious that half the population of the Uruguay tribe died within 2 years of coming into contact with others.
Só manda o roteiro que a gente só termina o resto.
And he said really clearly, send us cameras, send us better audio equipment, and we will produce, manage, shoot the final chapter of our story.
That turned out to be quite an empowering moment though, wasn't it?
In this film, you can see Bitete Uruguay and his team changing their narrative. A few decades ago, they were being filmed by foreigners and other journalists, and now they are carrying the cameras. They're holding the cameras. They're using drones and computers and GPSs and taking photos and producing videos, telling their own stories. And I think this is also something that we have a lot to learn from people here. Maori people, they've been doing that for so many years.
What's happening in the film is not only about the Uruguay indigenous land, it's about what is going on in all the indigenous land in Brazil. But to just isolate people too, because you know, they don't know what's happening here.
Bolsonaro is on record as comparing isolated tribes to animals in a zoo and praising Custer for his role in exterminating the Indians. A champion of assimilation, he's quoted as saying, Indians are undoubtedly changing. They are increasingly becoming human beings, just like us. The Bolsonaro administration has also investigated Indigenous leaders who have spoken out against their policies.
While you are closing your eyes to reality, the land defender Ariel Wewawau, my friend since I was a kid, was murdered for protecting the forest.
Chai was referring to Ari, a young leader killed during the making of the film, whose battered body was found on the roadside.
He was my friend. He was a father, he was a teacher, he was a son, and he was a leader. We don't have any answer about what happened with him. And this is very difficult because in my culture, when someone dies, we cannot say his name anymore.
You've described Brazil as very poor, very violent, so what is it like for activists?
Brazil is one of the deadliest countries for environmental activists. And in Rondônia, this state where we shot the film, we have basically Neidinha, who is leading the whole resistance against deforestation, against the whole destruction of Mother Earth, or how you call it, Papatunuku. Death threats are unfortunately something that happens very often, not only with her, but with her family and with the others who are working there. It's really sad to say that, but this is something that we just got used to.
The activist Neidinha is Chai's mother.
How hard is it for you?
It's not easy. I should have fun. I should be, I don't know, doing things that young people are doing, but I'm not. I'm here fighting and try show the world what's happened with my people, with my family.
Do you worry about your mother when you're traveling?
More close the election, more dangerous. And we are receiving more death threats. They are destroying the forest too. But this means destroy our future.
Bolsonaro has scaled back enforcement of environmental laws, gutted inspection budgets for the agency in charge of regulating deforestation, according to NGOs, basically giving the green light to criminal networks involved in illegal logging, and in doing so, undermining Brazil's ability to reduce its greenhouse emissions. Meanwhile, environmental activists are calling on governments around the world to push for environmental destruction, or ecocide, to be declared a crime by the International Criminal Court. More than 20 countries have expressed support. Aotearoa New Zealand has not yet done so.
Do you see much traction in that movement?
European countries are currently discussing bills and regulations about products that are coming from the Amazon. For example, when we talk about the Amazon, for foreigner countries, it sounds like super far away, super distant, but actually we are closer than we think. All of these products, gold, diamonds, leather, and the beef that are in a way a result of deforestation, they're not staying in Brazil. They are traveling overseas and they're going to the US, they're going to Europe, to China, to everywhere. The whole world is more connected to the deforestation and to the destruction of the Amazon, and much more than they think.
As Brazil counts down to election day, the man nicknamed the Trump of the tropics is counting on his populist agenda to carry him through. Gabrielle is hoping it won't.
We need change. The way things are in Brazil nowadays is just becoming a nightmare after another nightmare. We cannot live like that. You know, nowadays it's a matter of surviving, and we want to live, and we can walk towards the future instead of walking back to a past.
Chai doesn't see Indigenous tribes as victims, but as champions.
The Indigenous peoples are 5% of all population world, and we protect 80% of the biodiversity. So this shows that we are saving the planet.
How hopeful do you feel?
We need to be hopeful, right? I try to learn from Neidinha. She's been on the front lines for decades, and now she's a 64 years old woman fighting against everything and everyone. She has donated her whole life to do that. So I think that we need to be humble and learn from people like her and keep on fighting, keep on believing.